Welcome back to 5 Minute Fantasy Football, presented to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Today we're talking about 2024 Tennessee Titans. We're going to have Mike Clay's projections, sleeper ADP, and do a full offseason recap of the Titans. So we're going to start here with the coaching changes. You had Brian Callahan coming over here from the Cincinnati Bengals. He brings his dad, Bill Callahan. This was the 32nd best. That is the worst offensive line per PFF. And bringing in a guru like Callahan should be able to help the offense. Talking about Bill Callahan. And then, of course, using their first-round pick on J.C. Latham. And their big free agent pickup was Lloyd Cushenberry. With Peter Skronsky, the left side of the offensive line is taken care of. But the right side of the offensive line is still a big question mark. We'll see who emerges. They did not do well last year. And so those starters may not be starters when the season starts. And then, of course, they added weapons. This was a very slow, it was not a very explosive offense. So they got Tony Pollard. They added Calvin Ridley. They brought in Tyler Boyd, some route runners, and some athleticism to go to the position. Big loss with Derrick Henry, but he also was an older player that was costing them a lot of money. And so they were able to have Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard as a much less expensive, younger backfield and able to put money into other positions such as offensive line and the receiver. Don't forget about Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you go to Underdog Fantasy. They have NFL Pick'em Week 1. You can also do season long. Will Levis, he's got the higher or lower 20.5 passing touchdowns. That's just over 1 touchdown a game if he stays healthy. What do you think? Comment higher or lower for Will Levis, 20.5, and use FFSGPN as the promo code just so they know he sent you. So let's talk about the quarterbacks. Mike Clay's got it just lower. He's got it 3,864 yards, but 19, not 20. He's going with the lower than 13 interceptions. So 19 passing touchdowns, 13 interceptions. With the weapons, with Tony Pollard, with Chig Okonkwo, and then you go to the receivers. You have DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Treylon Burks. 19 touchdowns seems pretty reasonable for a guy that's a potential breakout candidate. He's got him going off the board. He's got him going finishing as the 24th quarterback. He's actually going off the board as the 24th quarterback. The rushing upside is just, I think it's going to be a little higher. He ran a lot in college, 49 attempts, 161 yards. I just think he's going to do more than that. 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm not a huge Will Levis guy, but I think he does more than that in the ground. And he can hit that 20 passing touchdowns, get him a top 20 quarterback finish. They got Tyjae Spears as the top fantasy running back. What do you think about that? I got Tony Pollard. Tyjae Spears comes in. The GM picked him, but this coaching regime was pretty quick about picking up Tony Pollard, who's been a top 20 fantasy back 2 years in a row. And I know last year wasn't the top 5 finish that we all hoped for, but he was a damn good back, and people are acting like he was horrible. He was very good. And so this year he's going to go him and Tyjae Spears. I like Tyjae Spears. Give me Tony Pollard to finish higher than RB35. ADP has it flip-flopped. ADP right now has it as RB27 Pollard, RB36 Spears. So in Mike's eyes, Spears is a little bit of a value, and Tony Pollard is a little bit of a reach. So he's got it split 120 carries to Spears, 160 carries to Pollard, 524 yards for Spears, 685 for Pollard. So he still has Pollard as the top guy as far as the rushing game. He's also got 5 rushing touchdowns for Pollard, 3 for Spears. Where the difference is, this is PPR, and he's given a lot of the passing game and a lot of passing targets to the running back position. 67 targets for Spears, 49 for Pollard. That's 50 receptions for Spears, 39 for Pollard. That's 405 receiving yards for Spears and 247 for Pollard. 2 touchdowns in the air for Spears, 1 touchdown for Pollard, making them finish at 173 for Pollard, or for Spears, 164 for Pollard as far as the points. I don't know. I just think Pollard's going to do more. He's been a more proven back, and last year's coming off of a pretty significant leg injury and still did really well. Let me know what you think. I think Pollard is going to be a steal if this is what people are thinking. Calvin Ridley, the big free agent ticket pickup. Calvin Ridley comes over. He's got him down for 129 targets, 74 receptions, 1,009 yards, 7 touchdowns. wide receiver 23. He's going off the board as wide receiver 35. So he's got him as a value compared to the ADP. DeAndre Hopkins, he's finishing at 31 per Mike, and he's going off the board as 39. So Mike has him as a value as well. Both of them 129 targets, both of them right around 75 receptions and 1,000 yards. Calvin Ridley just with the more touchdowns, seven touchdowns for him, 5 for Hopkins. He doesn't have a lot of work for Tyler Boyd or for Treylon Burks. Wow, Burks has fallen. He's going to make the team. I mean, at the end of the day, unless someone comes out and tries to trade for Burks, he's just someone he's buried on this roster with Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins ahead of him. Then Chigakonkwo, he's a post-hype sleeper, but he's just too far down the pecking order for him to really break out. I did a key performance indicators episode. You want to be top 2 on your team in targets. Not going to happen here. You want a guy that can get 100 targets. Not going to happen here. You want a guy that can get 1,000 air yards. I just don't see that happening for Chig unless 2 or 3 guys go down. Between the running backs and the receivers, there's just not a lot on the plate. And so Chig is a guy that I'm avoiding. He's got him finishing as tight end 20. Maybe you can stream him every once in a while. He's going off the board as tight end 23. So he's a little bit of a value, but he's just someone that I'm not interested in. Even in your tight end premium leagues, everybody else is going to be lifted up. This guy's not going to getting enough volume to be an everyday starter for you or an every week starter for you. So I'm out. So again, what do you think about Will Levis? Go to Underdog, download Underdog, do the season-long pick 'em. You got higher or lower than 20.5 passing touchdowns. Mike has the under at 19. That's it's his 15-game projection. So, of course, if Levis stays healthy, he's going to hit the higher. And so what do you think? Again, promo code FFSGPN. This 5-minute fantasy football went a little longer today. As always, good luck this season.